force. 10 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 5 seconds remaining.
Witch Doctor!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Bloodseeker.
Dire team pick.
Winter Wyvern.
Hello and welcome everyone to the UGC League Season 4 playoffs of the Western Invite. Tonight's match is hosted by NewMetaMedia. My name is Sub-Zero, alongside my co-caster Vivi.
Hello everybody.
Tonight's matchup will be a beautiful best of 3, followed by cake and milkshakes, or rather known as the gratifying bracket climbing of the playoff stages. It will be the second seeded team known as Too Many Creeps versus the 7th seeded team Overachievers tonight, and yeah, both of us are looking forward to a great best of 3.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm loving the picks already coming out. I haven't seen Winter Wyvern enough, you know, being such a new hero, that every time it gets drafted I just get excited because I'm never too sure what it'll bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's with his ultimate, it's a game changer nowadays. A lot, Wyvern's being picked up so much now. If she jumps in, along with the Arctic Burn too, like that, it's such a great harass early on in the laning stage. Also, if you need to jump over cliffs or trees, it's a great tool to jump over to start either a gank or basically just to get away from anybody. So Wyvern is definitely a great pickup, along with the Queen of Pain. So it's a lot of mobility right off. With the Bloodseeker and the Witch Doctor, expect to see some little bit of team fight here coming from Too Many Creeps. I mean, Bloodseeker is just a pub stomp hero or a captain's mode pub stomp hero. Like it's so frustrating to play against a Bloodseeker in this current meta, and anything he does, really, he can snowball out of control. It's just not something that's fun to play against, but it still is a good hero. Having the Blood right as well as the Rupture goes through so many things. So
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I will admit I have lost 50 MMR already today to Bloodseekers of various skill levels, and yeah, it can be quite frustrating, but that AoE silence is really just a game changer in team fights. I mean, it's so big that it's hard to get out of it in time.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see a lot of pure damage coming out. Quap obviously with Sonic, and Bloodseeker with both Blood Right as well as Rupture. It's going to be a lot of damage output from both of these teams, and with the bans with Tusk and Undying being gone as well as Leshrac, those are real good current meta heroes. It'll be interesting to see what kind of pickups are here. What do you think Overachievers or Too Many Creeps is going to go here for more of? Are they going to go for that kind of late game carry, or are they just going to want to go for that control mid game? Because Quap is that mid game hero, so.
Yeah, in my experience now, I've decided that Bloodseeker's a great mid-game carry, and most people would originally say, oh, if you're running him as a safe lane carry, all you have to do as the other team is run a harder carry. But I'm realizing now that doesn't really work. You have to meet Bloodseeker head-on in the mid-game, so I wouldn't be surprised if Overachievers picked up the Gyrocopter, or, maybe the Phantom Lancer just got an early defusal and started fighting, because those are things that I find can deal with it quite well.
Yeah, and Gyro is yet to be banned yet, so definitely one to watch out for that they could be picking up here. Not a lot of physical damage except for that Witch Doctor ult, really, so Wyvern's kind of neglected here. I mean, the Cold Embrace isn't going to do a ton of work to kind of control with this Gyrocopter, so interesting to see. Obviously with the Zeus Bloodseeker, that's just going to be destructive, being able to kind of check out anybody on the map as soon as they're below, what is it, 25% health now? So, I mean, it's going to be quite destructive. And Earthshaker coming from Overachievers, so that's a little bit of stun, a little bit of lockdown. And, you know, Earthshaker's great in the mid-game once he picks up that Blink Dagger around, you know, the 12 to 15 minute mark, depending on how his farm's going or if he's getting controlled in lane. I mean, that turns out huge. You can start rotating around the map, and like I said, with both this mobility between Quap and Wervin, if he gets to jump around the map, it's going to be really hard to go up against, too. It's a lot of damage coming out, so... I mean, they don't quite have a carry yet, either. PL being banned out from too many creeps, so... It's interesting to see what's up so far. I agree with you with the gyro pickup. That's probably a good one to have for Overachievers.
Yeah, and I really do agree with your Earthshaker pick. It works on so many levels. Witch Doctor getting off an ult, it's very easy for Earthshaker to destroy that with a fissure from quite a distance. What is it, like 1200 or something?
Yeah, it's got a long range.
1400. Yeah, and also he's an underrated support for shutting down Bloodseeker ganks, because one thing the Bloodseeker can't do is get over a fissure if you completely block him off.
Silencer coming out, so just complete global presence, really, other than this Witch Doctor. I mean... You know what's coming out most likely if he's going to get the Agnum Scepter, and if Zeus kind of balls out of control here and picks up the Refresher, the Octarine Core, it's going to be really destructive. And I mean, that kind of lineup from Overachievers does kind of need that ability movement, right? You need to be throwing down the stuns like the Fissure, you need to be throwing out the Sonic Waves and the Blink and Scream and everything, right? And with Silencer being picked up, it's definitely great to have that, you know, a little bit of silence to be able to control them around, especially if Bloodseeker gets some low on the side of Overachievers, then he can just start diving at him.
I think that a really good thing that too many creeps could pick up here would be the Clockwork for a 5th pick if they're going to throw it in the offlane. It's, again, the global presence, and also Earthshaker having such a long cast animation for the first 2 of his spells. Very easy to shut that down with Battery Assault. Yeah,
and Clock's one that's been picked up quite a bit, actually, so... they have the initiation, sort of, but they don't have somebody to jump on top of them. As I've been talking about the mobility of Overachievers, they do need somebody like Clock to be able to jump on and, you know, secure down. And with Quap's animation from her Blink, it is a little bit slow, so Battery Assault does actually do a pretty good job to kind of keep her in those cogs. And if they do get the silence off, plus Zeus and Bloodseeker, Witch Doctor in the back doing a ton of work with any damage, it's a good disconnect away from the team fight from their ability casters like Zeus and Silencer. So, yeah, Clock would be probably an excellent pickup for them.
Right now, it's kind of looking like Overachievers are relying on a lot of big ultimates that have, you know, quite long cooldowns. So, too many creeps. It feels as though their lineup is able to fight a lot more frequently.
Ooh, Tiny being picked up. So there's that carry. I mean, Tiny's great, but he's not being picked up so much lately. I mean, Tiny, Io's always good, but... I don't know, is that Earthshaker going to be a core shaker? Because they have Wervin as a support, but I don't think Io's going to be their 5th pick.
No, they need the Earthshaker to be able to roam and protect people from the Bloodseeker. Also, I feel that Core Shaker is very risky unless you have 2 very, very active supports that can, you know, scale into the late game.
Exactly, yeah. They need a little bit more of an offlaner here, because Quap's going to be going mid. Wervin and Earthshaker probably have to protect this Tiny to be able to get some sort of farm. Like I said, he just isn't picked up so much anymore. If it goes late game, yeah, of course, Tiny can win anything, really, with the Agnum Scepter pickup. If he goes Manta style, AC, really. BKB would be great against this team with the Zeus and Silencer, but I mean, that's all you can really rely on. The stuns are great, yes, but they just have so much global control on too many creeps, and it's really hard for Tiny to go up against. I mean, he's another hero that you can kite for half the time unless he's tossing other heroes on top. So, I mean, it's an okay kind of lineup with the multiple stuns and the mobility with him, but it's difficult to throw him in there against things like Zeus, Witch Doctor, Silencer.
I'd really like to see a Phoenix coming out for Overachievers. If you can mitigate the fact that, you know, Silencer can counter him in lane, I feel it would go very well with their lineup. You know, Earthshaker being able to come in and stun everybody, and Winter Wyvern locking people down as well. It just adds to the AoE team fight destruction that they could put out.
Yeah, and I mean, Wraith King coming out from too many creeps, so that's a little bit of tank for them, and, you know, it adds to the team fight. Obviously, with Reincarnation, he comes right back and starts clicking away, while the rest of the team's just really doing work with all the different abilities, throwing down Thunderbolts and throwing down Curse of the Silence, Bloodseeker doing what he does, obviously, just running around at rocket speed, throwing out Blood Rights. And yeah, so, I mean, Wraith King's definitely a good pickup. I feel like they're lacking a little bit of early carry, but that remains to be seen, obviously. Like, if Zeus has a good start, as well as Bloodseeker, both of those run out of control. So, I mean, it's up to too many creeps to kind of get an early start, and it's up to Overachievers to kind of secure some farm for Tiny and let Quap kind of flourish and get... do you think she's going to go for Ags first, or is this going to be more of an Orchid game? Because, I mean, there's so much ability cast here on too many creeps.
I'm really not too sure. I could go either way. This is almost one of those games that I'd be rushing Sheepstick, because you just need to be able to control that Bloodseeker. And, I mean, besides the... going with the Orchid, easy shutdown of the Witch Doctor ults, etc.
Alright, for Overachievers up top here, we have Mihai on the Queen of Pain, we have Salfu on the Winter Wyvern, Frugos on the Earthshaker, Brink on the Tiny, and going off lane we have Fear the Reaper, their captain, on the Darkseer. Would you like to introduce TMC?
Yeah, over on the side of TMC, it looks like we're going to have Shoe Whistle going on a mid-silencer, possibly. That's something we haven't seen in quite a while. YouTube.com, I can't read the rest of this person's name. On the Witch Doctor, let me just see here. Bree on the Witch Doctor. Michael on the Bloodseeker, Rahul on the Wraith King, and I don't even know if I can say that name. Anacletus on Zeus.
Anacletus?
Anacletus,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Anacletus.
Perfect.
Man.
30 seconds to battle.
Jumbled names. Come on, guys. The casters have such a hard time.
Yeah, so this is hard mode for us, and it looks like everyone's posturing around mid. We could see a very interesting little skirmish going on here.
Yeah, and there's lots of abilities to go out. I mean, lots of stun coming from Overachievers, but not only that, like, creeps have a ton of stun too. Witch Doctor, Wraith King, Zeus, and Curse of Silent if he elects to go that first. I mean, this is going to be a first blood if they're going to go deep. Wraith Blast already going out on Brink, Fissure coming up from the back so it blocks off Zeus, being tossed right back, so he does manage to pick up the rune. And yeah, I think they might be okay coming out because they are sort of fissure blocked. And Southwool just kind of throwing out the Arctic Blast just in case, or Arctic Burn rather. And yeah, better heads prevail. So Bounty Rune going to Tiny. And who was it that picked up on bottom? I think it was just the Darkseer that got it, didn't he? Yep, just solo Darkseer.
Yep, Darkseer got that. I really like the disengage with the Earthshaker. It's a really good idea when you have a 4-on-4 skirmish and you're not sure if you're going to be able to win it. Very good, very well played.
So it is Fear the Reaper against Michael down on bottom, and this will be a solo Bloodseeker lining up against him. He's probably not going to get a ton of farm here. I mean, with the Darkseer throwing out the Ion Shells, it's really hard for any sort of melee hero to kind of get any sort of farm. But it still is a Bloodseeker. I'm not going to count him out. He hasn't even... Oh, he did level. He leveled Blood Rage first here, so... Yeah, he knows he's going to have a hard time, and he's just going to have to heal up most of the time. Top lane here, it's going to be a tri-lane, so it will be Wraith King, Witch Doctor, and Silencer, along with the Earthshaker, the Winter Wyvern, and it actually is the Quap on top. So definitely an interesting lineup here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Fear the Reaper going up against Michael down here. I don't think Michael's going to have that difficult of a time. He can heal up quite easily. And
oh, hang on. This might be first blood here. Fissure being tossed out on top of Bree, and Arctic Burn doing a ton of work, and it will be Quap. Mihai getting the first blood here on the Witch Doctor up top. So, yeah, Fissure doing a ton of work there, throwing him, trapping the Witch Doctor in between the trees, and Arctic Burn actually doing so much damage along with the Shadow Strike from Quap. So, first blood going to Overachievers.
It was really fantastic, but I'm still not too sure about this Queen of Pain going safe lane. I feel like Tiny could contribute a lot more with his stun, but I don't know. What do you think?
I totally agree. The stun combo along with Arctic Burn and the Fissure, that's a whole lot of early burst damage. And, you know, Witch Doctor, yeah, does a ton of right-click damage early on as a support, and the Coconut's great to have, but he's so damn squishy and can be taken out really at an instant. So I'd rather see the Tiny up top, but... I mean, mid-Tiny's been a thing in the past, and he'll get levels really quick. I don't know how much farm he's going to get. He's sitting at 9 and 3, second in CS, so not horrible.
Yeah, that's the other thing, though. I feel that Queen of Pain really does crave levels, so I'm going to be interested to see how the mid-game turns out, because if she's just going safe lane farming, she could build into a very quick Ags and then start taking over the map. But we got Earthshaker hovering around mid here.
Yeah, and he's got the Invis rune, and Zeus doesn't have really any more mana here for anything, not even a Lightning Bolt to kind of scout him out. And this will be a Fissure going out and blocks him in. Brink coming in with the Avalanche Toss, and oh, goodness sakes, he's running really low. Naklet is trying to run away, and he might escape. He does have his boots, but ooh. Cuts back instead. He's being chased down by Fugros. He might actually get away. Oh no, there's the Mango. Ooh, classic Mango. Throws out the Fissure, and that will be another kill for Overachievers.
I feel like that's the first time I've ever seen a Mango actually secure a kill. Like,
I know.
100% it was on the Magno.
That was perfect. So, yeah, a little...
fantastic, but... Yeah, a little overconfident on the Tiny with that level 1 toss and avalanche.
And they're going hard on Selful here. Lots of stun coming out. He does manage to get off a Cold Embrace, so he heal up a little bit. Can't right-click him yet. And he actually gets the Arctic Burn over and just flies away. So he will be okay. And Mihai is going to get back just fine, too.
Yeah, they're very lucky that Frugos did not have enough for a Fissure, because that could have turned sour really fast.
Yeah, that could have been a definite turnaround. I mean, they threw out all their stuns already just on the Winter Wyvern there, so didn't really have anything else to follow. That could have been an easy pickup after the Fissure. And Mihai actually doing a lot of work here. This is actually going to be a kill if he goes down. Does throw out the wand, but does die to the Shadow Strike, and that's another pickup for Queen of Pain. So she's actually doing not too bad up on top. So yeah, sticking down on bottom here.
No.
What do you think about this matchup here? I mean, as I said before, Fear the Reaper is probably going to get a lot from against this Bloodseeker, but
I feel like putting the Darkseer against the Bloodseeker is a way to... You're not going to secure kills on the Bloodseeker because he can survive it, but you are assuring farm on the Darkseer.
Yeah, I mean, Darkseer, top of the board right now, but it is the Bloodseeker falling up close second, so they're kind of just trading hits back and forth, but Michael is running really low, and he's actually getting caught up in the trees here. Fear the Reaper makes a little shortcut and goes the wrong way, and Bloodright goes out, and I think Bloodseeker's just going to have to look to go back here. No more mana for Fear the Reaper, but I think he knows he's there. Here comes the Wraith King, though, to kind of secure the deal here, but Fear the Reaper throws off a Surge, and I think he'll be just fine just to get out. He's going for it again.
Fantastic juking by Fear the Reaper.
He's going in again. He really wants to harass the shit out of this Bloodseeker. And now that there's a big rotation coming in from Frugos as well as Selful, Arctic Burn goes out and they want to go hard on Rahul, but I think they're just... better heads prevail here. I don't think either team really wants to start diving towers or diving out of towers for that matter for creeps. They're just a little too squishy here for the Bloodseeker, and Wraith King's almost at half health, so it's probably better just to kind of stay back and farm it.
This Wraith King's getting really starved too. Even for a support Wraith King, you usually see a little bit more farm coming up off this, but 6 last hits at 5 minutes, that's pretty bad, and only level 3 to boot.
Frugos does have enough for a Fissure here. He does toss it out. Gets it on 2, actually. Bree coming in on the Witch Doctor, and I don't know. It's going to be a difficult team fight for both teams. They're sitting pretty low here for creeps, and they might need to get back, but they're also running out of mana for overachievers, so there's not going to be a lot of ability blasting coming out. Bloodrate does go out. Another stun coconut from Bree. Wraith Blast coming in from the side, and then there's Cold Embrace coming in the back, healing this Darkseer up. Everybody's starting to expend everything. Zeus throws out the ult. Toss as well as the Avalanche picks out the Bloodseeker, and another Wraith Blast goes out on Frugos. That will be another kill pickup. Wraith King gets that one, and they start diving hard on this Wraith King too. Brink getting the Ion Shell, tosses him back on top of the Silencer, gets the kill on that. Now they're going to chase down the Silencer. And just like that, it's a 2 for 1, but turns into a 2 for 2, or a 3 for 1 rather. And overachievers, running out of mana real quick, but it is the Tiny that comes in and secures the rest of those kills.
Tiny showing off his incredible situational awareness there, being able to, even though the Wraith King was dead, tossing him right at the last second onto the Silencer and securing that last kill. I think he's really, if he plays like this in the mid game, it's going to be a very interesting match to watch. And
now he's got an Invis in here sitting on mid, and they might actually go after Zeus. He does have enough for a toss, and he throws it into the Fissure the Earthshaker, and that's a killing spree for the Tiny. And look at that, just within a couple seconds there, turns it and takes out their mid. Now he's sitting at 1,500 gold here. Tiny's second in CS compared to the Bloodseeker. And yeah, I mean, he can elect to go for the mana boots early, or if he wants to go straight for that Agnum Scepter and pick up that point booster. So lots of gold going to the side of overachievers here with that Tiny. And already at 3k in net worth, over 3k in net worth. And, you know, it's going to be sitting pretty comfortable after this. Mid-Tiny didn't seem like the proper matchup against the Zeus, but he's doing just fine.
Yeah, and we do see Bloodseeker hitting level 6 now, so we are going to be watching out for the Ruptures. Probably going to be coming online pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, he's just probably going to go back into the jungle here and farm up. He does have the Quelling Blade, so you might not see him go back to lane here after that big skirmish with Fear the Reaper running around the map. Up on top, they're starting to dive back in again. Shoe Whistle running pretty low, and so is Frugos, but does get healed up with the Cold Embrace. Heads up, here comes the Bloodseeker as well as the Witch Doctor, so this will be a full rotation top. Frugos running really low. Zeus all going out as well. And I think they're only get the one pick off. Wyvern is rather low, and Bloodseeker wants to go for it, but too little too late. They back up to the tower, but full rotation over for that one kill on the Earthshaker. I mean, it's not a horrible thing. This Bloodseeker does need a little bit extra here. He's running super fast.
Raul had excellent positioning there. They were diving him pretty deep, and he just ran into the trees. And instead of TPing out, he just sort of stuck around and was able to throw out a last-minute stun on Frugos and secure the kill. Very well played.
This Bloodseeker running so fast right now, almost at 700 move speed with everybody lower on the map. That Tiny was for a bit, but he's getting healed up, and I don't think he's going to get much out of it. Mihai's just going back to the farm game here. She's sitting at 36 and 13, so doing quite well for herself. She's picked up the power tread. She already has the null tally. And we've been talking about it. Do you think she's going to go for this Aghanim Scepter, or it will be an Orchid pickup? Because, I mean, they do need some damage. They don't have enough of it yet, but, I mean, the silence coming out is going to be huge for her to kind of start roaming around the map.
Double kill!
I think it's definitely going to be it would definitely be smart to go Aghanim Scepter Rush. They're a little bit ahead already, and if you've got a safe lane farming Queen of Pain, you're not going to be running around ganking with the Orchid. You're going to be wanting to build into the late game items. Just sell Orchid late game anyway.
I agree. A little bit of a skirmish there. Actually, 2 going down here for Overachievers, and just the Witch Doctor on creeps. And Brink's going to be forced back as well, so they're running pretty low on mana for Anacletus, but he's just going to go back and bottle up a rune. And, I mean, that's a good trade for them, picking up the Darkseer as well as I think that was the Earthshaker too, right? So it definitely a good pickup.
Very much back and forth here. And we're seeing the lanes start to dissolve as well. A few people are sticking around in their lanes and farming like the Quap, but I think everybody's just going to be running all over the place. There's no super late game carries. Everyone can fight now. Yeah,
and Wraith King's doing a pretty good job of it. He's almost hit level 6, but doesn't have any real key items yet. He only does have the Boots of Speed here, so what kind of item are we going to look for here? They do need the tank up a little bit. They're a pretty squishy team until this Bloodseeker kind of starts to come online here. So, I mean, will he go for that armlet here, or do you think he's going to go for that blink?
They need the blink. They need the blink, definitely. They don't have enough of an initiation. I mean, you've got counter initiation with the Global Silence and the Heaven's Wrath. What is it called? Thunder God's Wrath.
Yeah.
But they need him to be able to blink in, die, and slow everybody.
Southwell actually going Arctic Burn, going for the Wraith King here, but does not know Michael's sitting in the trees. Throws out the Rupture as well as doesn't get the Blood Raid on him. And they're going to actually look to re-engage this, but he's running a little too quick. They're just going to look to get back. And the hashtag Soulful is just going to TP right back. So, yeah. Didn't see the Bloodseeker there. Got a little surprised as soon as he went Arctic Burn going on Raul, so gotta be careful with this Bloodseeker sitting in the jungle.
Yeah, and he's picked up a Broadsword as well. Do you think he's going just early crit, or could he be building into a Battle Fury? That doesn't seem very likely.
No, the Broadsword does go into the Blade Mail, right? And that's usually what the Bloodseeker does tend to go to, so
oh, true.
It's probably going to be the Blade Mail. I'm missing another kill here. Tiny picking up another one. So this is a mega kill streak here, taking down the Silencer. And yeah, with the Blink Dagger, he's just running around the map. And these are great pickoffs that he needs. Because if he gets out the Aghanim Scepter early on, gets out that branch, he can start taking down towers pretty quick. And there goes that map control that they just don't even have a great farming lineup anyway on creeps. I mean, they're more of a kind of kill Deathball strat with this Bloodseeker Zeus. So, I mean, if there's no farm for that Wraith King, they're really losing out on any sort of core carry.
Absolutely. Although that being said, if the Bloodseeker does get far enough ahead.
Diving deep on Anacletus, Brink running really low, but does manage to pick up a kill, but he will be killing himself in the meantime, so that's an unstoppable streak here for the Bloodseeker, and that's just what he needed here. That'll be a Blade Mail coming out pretty quick now. He does have enough gold for it. And he's just going to go deep, looking straight for Mihai, because he does have well over 500 move speed. And he's going to start right-clicking, doing a lot of damage. Silence does come out, so he might actually pick up this kill. 2 more clicks and he'll get it. And does manage to kill her. Frugos TPing in, getting off a ton of stuns on top of Michael. He's running rather low, but he's going to run right away. And down on bottom, Witch Doctor actually picks up a kill here on Wyvern. So kills all across the map here. And this is proving to be quite a jumpy game back and forth. Lots of mid-game potential, lots of stuns coming out, lots of damage, and it's great to see for sure. These mid-game heroes really make up a game, and it kind of is make or break for some of these teams that if they don't get this mid-game lineup, they kind of fall off, and there's no way they can start pushing the towers. There's no way they can start killing the other team, and it kind of ends up short for them. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this one. It's 12-8, and Zeus going down again here to Tiny. And he just can't be doing that. I mean, Zeus doesn't really have anything right now. He just has the point booster, and he needs to farm up. So if he keeps dying to this Tiny and starts straightening his life, he's not going to pick up anything anytime soon. This is exactly what I'm talking about. That start of the mid game when they really need the items to come online for some sort of damage really output. And Tiny gets another kill here on Witch Doctor. So he is really just balling out of control with this Blink Dagger.
Yep. Although On the flip side, the Witch Doctor did get his level 6 right before he died there, so I think that's really going to help as they go into the mid game. Not having the Witch Doctor ult essentially makes him a walking bag of gold for overachievers.
Yeah, net worth right now, I mean, Tiny's sitting at close to 6k. Bloodseeker pretty close behind, actually, but it's going to be the top 4 that on overachievers that have most of the gold potential. And, I mean, they're really starting to key up here with these items. Quap actually is going for that Agnum Scepter now, picking up that point booster. And Tiny's got 1100 in the bank. I think it's time for him to go for his Ags. With this Blink Dagger, he's already picking off kills, so now he can just start to go for that kind of push. And they're grouping up here, and Werven's sitting in the trees along with Fear the Reaper. And there's going to be some sort of engagement here. Silencer getting up on the cliff. Thunder God's Wrath going out, and they turn quick onto Selfful, so that'll be a quick death. Witch Doctor picking up that one. Brink rotating in, does a ton of damage here from... And Scream coming out, as well as the Vacuum into the wall. And all of them are running really low here on TMC. We got Zeus, Wraith King, and the Witch Doctor running low. But Bloodseeker does pick up a couple kills. Silence goes out, and it will be 4 going down. And now they're going to look to chase after that. Nope, Brink's going to get back just fine, but that will be a 4 for 1 trade, I believe. So definitely a great turnaround here with Michael picking off a lot of those kills with that Blade Mail.
It was really fantastic that Zeus used his ultimate to scout out, because that Winter Wyvern got locked down before he could do anything at all. And I think really that's what they have to do. They have to make sure that they get the initiations. Yeah,
had he not scouted there, they would have had no idea that the Wyvern was in there. And she's actually going to get blood rated, and she's going to have to get away. Brink actually jumps in, Avalanche Toss, and they're running really low, but there's not a lot of follow-up here. Frugros TP's in, but dies right away. Just not the appropriate TP in that he needed, so... Darkseer coming in the back, and they want to protect this tower, but it's going to go down anyway to the Radiant. And they're going to jump on Fear the Reaper. He's running rather low. And Michael chasing deep. Zeus actually picks off the kill for that. Blood Drake going out just to secure any kind of rotations coming in. And that's another 2 kills here for TMC. And just like that, they're starting to run away with this one. They pick off that T1 tower on mid and pick up a couple kills in the process too.
That was really tragic. I know that overachievers just wanted to protect their tier 1 because that map control is so essential, especially if they want to get an early Roche on that Tiny. But unfortunately, they're just going in 1 by 1, and even juking through the trees, it doesn't matter if there's thirst on you.
Yeah, Brink actually going in top of Michael again. Mihai throwing out the Shadow Strike, and they're going to start to chase him down. He's running pretty low, but Rupture's the Queen of Pain instead. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this one with the slow from the Shadow Strike. Tosses up a creep, and that will be a killing spree for the Tiny. So, in all of that engagement, Brink did not go down, so he has still quite a bit of gold bottled up here. Does go for the point booster. Now he's got a 1k gold if he wants that Ogre Club. So, Tiny's still doing quite well, even with a huge engagement for those last pretty much 2.5 team fights.
Brink has to be really careful here, because if he goes down to the Bloodseeker, that's going to be enough for Bloodseeker to finish off his BKB, and then team fights will not be going very well for them. I mean, all that they have that pierces BKB is, I think, Winter's Curse does, and also the Sonic Wave, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I mean, Wraith King's got his reincarnation now, so it's a little bit more tankability and survivability for the team fight. Sitting at about 1,500 gold here. And if he starts to tank up, that will be really good. I mean, they did start to wipe him there on that team fight. They just really need to key on top of Brink. Otherwise, he's going to just start blinking out and then blinking back in, doing the Avalanche Toss combo, and just really wiping a lot of their support, as well as Zeus. I mean, Zeus really hasn't got a lot done this game. And although he's getting halfway through Agnum Scepter here, it's taking a little while. Usually when you see a Zeus, he tends to ball out of control with these kind of lineups, and it's just not working for him this one.
Absolutely not, no. And I think that putting the Tiny mid may have actually, in hindsight, been a really good choice. Tiny, playing him as a mid-game hero with a Blink, is becoming much more popular as we move away from the 2-hour-long games.
Yeah, and now that he's picked up the Ogre Club, he's right on his way to that Agnum Scepter. So as I talked about before, he can start pushing towers. And, I mean, they've taken the T1 down bottom. It's pretty close to going down here on mid. And, meanwhile, creeps are going to start to rotate here. They want to tower some map control of themselves. And all 5 are up here on top lane, and it's just the Darkseer by himself. He doesn't have huge escape with these kind of mobility heroes if they get him low, so he needs to stay pretty quiet and comfortable close to his T1 tower. Otherwise, they're going to get the jump on him here. And they do throw out the last word. Bloodrake going out as well. Stun Coconut from Bree. And he's running pretty low, and this will definitely be a death on Fear the Reaper. So 5 rotating up, and this should be a T1 tower. But meanwhile, Brink's actually going to look to push T1 on mid, so this will be a trade. But they do, looks like TMC is actually going to get the benefit of that one with the Darkseer going on. It's such a huge hero to have in any sort of team fight, any sort of engagement. And the push from just the Island Shell in any other lane is really huge. So with him going down, creeps look to push that T1 tower, and they can start rotating around the map.
There's definitely a lot more push from the side of Overachievers. You've got Queen of Pain, once she picks up her Aghanim Scepter. Sonic Wave is just great for pushing down creep waves really fast. Ion Shell in the Dark Seer, and then not to mention Tiny once he gets his Aghanim Scepter. They're just going to be able to outpush TMC in the mid game unless they can respond in Fighters 5.
Yeah, and now Bloodseeker's almost at 100 last hits here. He's got a lot of farms, so what's he getting? That BKB is almost... Yeah, it's actually... He's completed that BKB. That's ready to come out, so he's really tanking up, especially against this lineup of Overachievers. I mean, the only pure damage coming out is from that Queen of Pain on the Sonic Wave, so it's definitely going to be a great pickup from any of those stuns or any of the slows. So watch out for that Bloodseeker to start snowballing as well.
Now, we're 18 minutes in. We've only seen 2 towers go down on each side. We're pretty much even in terms of kills, experience, and net worth. So what do you see happening if this starts to go late, as it is looking like it will?
I mean, in late game, we talked about in the draft, Tiny does start to take a late game if he does have the items. I mean, if he pulls out that Aghanim Scepter right away here and starts balling out of control, he'll pick up the Manta style, pick up the AC, and start getting some attack speed. That way he can start to take some towers, clean out their jungle if he feels. There's not a lot of huge core carry just because this Wraith King really hasn't had that great of a start. I mean, he only has power treads and just not a lot of gold coming in for him at all. Is that a Blink Dagger for him? It is actually a Blink Dagger coming out from the Wraith King, so good call on that one, Vivi. But that's all he has. He has no damage, so it'll be interesting to see if TMC starts to get some ganks off, get a couple kills, or a little bit of tower gold for this Wraith King, then it's really going to be a 1-for-1 between this Tiny and the Wraith King. It's hard to decide.
I feel like the Wraith King doesn't really need damage yet. The Blink Dagger is good enough, because if he can get in and slow everybody with his ultimate, that's enough for Witch Doctor to get off his Death Ward and just really start doing a lot of damage on the side of Overachievers.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got a little bit of a pause out, so at this time I'm going to just let everybody know that UGC is having us host on our main channel tonight, so go ahead and follow UGC League or follow our own Twitch channel at NewMetaMedia. I am at Sub-Zero Dota on Twitter, and we have at Vivi with 2 eyes at Vivi Dota on Twitter. So go ahead and follow and plug us there. And any other upcoming matches we'll be casting for UGC every week, as well as any other leagues or any pub stomps that we tend to keep twitching out. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah. If you love watching tryhards get owned in pubs, our channel's the right channel for you.
So take a look at these graphs here. I mean, right now, it looked like Overachievers are really starting to take this game, and then after about 10 minutes, it started to come back into creeps, and there's a huge exchange after that 2.5 team fights where creeps really took that on the mid lane and then took that tower. But it's starting to even out here. I mean, who do you think is going to get the jump at this mid game? Because really we were talking with this Quap and the jump from the Earthshaker, but not only that, we have Zeus and Bloodseeker. I mean, it's a lot of mid game potential. Who do you think is really going to get the better half of that now? I mean, both these teams are pretty close.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I actually think it's all going to depend on the vision, because if vision is not sufficient, TMC will almost always get the jump. They've got the Zeus ult to scout everybody out, and then if Overachievers do happen to get off the ult, the Global Science is a great counter initiation. However, if there's really good warding and OA are able to see TMC coming, then I think the Earthshaker could really get a nice stun off as soon as he gets his Blink Dagger, which he's about 1,000 away from.
Yeah, and they do deny that T1 tower, but right away here they smoke up and immediately head into the dire jungle. But I feel as though Overachievers know something's up, because they got out of that jungle really quick as soon as they cleared some camps here, and it's just Soulful, and actually Wraith King jumps in, blinks in, and throws off the Wraith Blast. Zeus throwing out Thunder God's Wrath, Silence coming out as well, and they're just tossing everything onto this Winter Wyvern, but I mean, she's just gonna get away. Soul burns away. And Brink actually losing a lot of life here to Michael with that BKB as well as the Blade Mail, and he goes down, so that will be a 2-0. But I feel like they could have got a lot more out of that had they not expended so much on that Wyvern. I mean, they tossed about 3 stuns, Silence, Thunder God's Wrath, just to secure that Wyvern kill, and they still didn't get her until the end. But even still, that will be a positive trade for them, getting a 2-0, and they're probably going to look to push here.
I think popping the Cold Embrace was just so perfectly timed, because it burned, I'd say, 80% of the Global Silence's duration, and that really did allow OA to get out before things were too bad.
Yeah, I think they could have lost a lot more than they actually did, but it is a shame losing Brink, because that's really their hard carry right now, and even though Quap's getting pretty close, she's only about 330 away from that Aghanim Scepter, so it's a lot more damage on just with the 40-second cooldown for this Quap ult, but even still, they really need Brink to come in with that Blink Dagger and get really any core damage coming out.
Yeah, they do, and I think that now is the time to, hop on TMC if you are overachievers, because you've got the global silence down, you've got the Zeus ult down for another 10 seconds, but still, it's really the silence that's preventing them from being efficient in team fights.
And I didn't notice this, I just picked this out. Silencer actually went for the Tranquils instead, so Shoe Whistle going for true support here, just wanting to heal up, and I mean, he's got 12 intelligence stacks stolen, so I think he's okay for mana. It's interesting to see the Tranquils, though. Usually it's Power Treads or Arcane Boots if you want to just keep diving. So, I mean, it's not so bad. He's kind of been playing around the whole map. He's only 2-0-2 and 9, so getting a lot of assist work.
Both teams kind of pinging each other out here. It looks like they might try and go on Fear the Reaper. They're rotating up through the jungle now.
Yeah, and he's actually closing in really quick. He's only about 50 gold away from his Guardian Greaves, and that is going to be a real good secure item for them. They really need to tank up here. I mean, Brink's already so tanky, but the support's on the back. I mean, Saufu's just getting jumped on. She's only sitting at 872 HP, and even the Earthshaker only at 1k is getting blown up pretty quick. So with those Guardian Greaves coming out, that's a huge secure for any sort of team fight, as well as Brink, like I said, being so tanky. Now has finished his Aghanim Scepter, so the stats are coming out pure for him for sure. And it looks like TMC is just going to start rotating and taking apart any of this jungle that they had, any secured farm for that Tiny. And, there might be some sort of engagement here. No wards really getting any vision yet, but Southpool's starting to jump out, spots out an illusion, and throws out the Cold Embrace on the Zeus illusion. Mistake on him, and there will be a Blood Ray coming on Fear the Reaper in between that and Southpool, and everything's being expended on those two. Meanwhile, Brink does clean up in the back, does manage to get that Bloodseeker, but he is ruptured and can't go anywhere, and blinks across here, and Wraith King's doing a lot of damage to him, and it will be a Naclidus that picks up that. That's a double kill for the Zeus, so it's a 3-for-1 trade. Only the Bloodseeker going down here for creeps. And that's It's really unfortunate that they spotted out that Zeus illusion, because had they sat in the trees and waited for them to get in a real good position, he wouldn't have threw that Cold Embrace on that Zeus, and that really cost him the team fight.
Yeah, they do have to hold on to that. And I think that Bree getting off a really good death board is... We can see he's going for the Aghanim Scepter. He's not even going for the BKB first. So it's really going to be on Frugras to save his fissures for the Witch Doctor ult, because as it currently stands, there's no BKB to get in the way. You can cancel very quickly.
Yeah, and Zeus picks up the Aghanim Scepter now here, and he used it last fight, so it's a lot more damage coming out, and we saw that. I mean, everybody being blown up really quick, and... Fear the Reaper jumping in to try and start to dive past that Winter Wyvern when he tossed out the Cold Embrace already. That's just a little costly, because Witch Doctor just turned around right on him and threw out the Coconut. And, I mean, there was so much damage output in between the Darkseer as well as the Wyvern that they got blown up instantly. And really, it was just Brink in the back taking down the Bloodseeker, which is great and all, but I mean, there was still so much damage to come out from this Wraith King, the Silencer, the Witch Doctor still even, that, I mean, there's nothing a lot overachievers could have done there.
No, absolutely not. Just a very poor engagement. I think that TMC had a little bit superior vision with the Observer Ward up in the Radiant in the Dire Jungle, and yeah, that's pretty much just how it went.
Yeah, so Guardian Greaves should be online here. He does have the 1600 for the recipe, but not electing to spend it quite yet. Southpool still only has the Arcane Boots. He's had a little bit of a tough time here, sitting at 0-5 and 5. A little bit of gold from the assist work that he's done, but really he's been the target of most of these team fights and being taken down rather quick, as we saw in the last one. Quap's picked up the Aghanim Scepter, so a little bit more damage output just for kind of continuing through team fights, and I mean, she can just start to clear creep waves if she wants. Brink's really, like I said, they're real hard carry right now, obviously, with the Blink Dagger and the Aghanim Scepter, so they can start pushing towers, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They throw out the Ion Shell on them, and they're just going to start to push this T2.
They need to do whatever they can to cancel Raul's Blink right here. Get a little bit of Ion Shell damage on him. I'm not too sure, but I don't think this is a good idea to push this right now. And
Silence going out as well as Thunder God's Wrath, and they want to go hard on him. Raul still does have his ultimate, so if they turn on him, they're all going to get slowed up. Rupture going out on Brink, gets the stun as well. Cold Embrace does go out, but it will be a Blood Right silencing most of them, and Quap's running really low. She is not able to blink out. She goes down really quick. Witch Doctor getting off a huge ult here on Fear the Reaper. Gets vacuumed up, but he's going to fall either way. And Wyvern comes in and cleans up a little bit, but doesn't manage to get any kills, and this will be a full team wipe on overachievers. Creeps completely controlling that one, just targeting way too much damage on Raul here, and as soon as the ult went off, they completely threw out everything and just destroyed them here. And just so many ultimates going out, but the full exchange was just a 5-0, and overachievers wanting to push that tower, but regrettably so here, losing all 5 of them. And You know, there just wasn't enough damage to kill any of them, and Witch Doctor falling so low, but just not able to get it. And you know what? He's actually getting an Aghanim Scepter here in 10 gold.
Yeah, and I want to give a special shout out to Bree for that particular team fight. He threw off a coconut that was just perfectly bouncing between people right at the same time as Raoul's ultimate went off to secure the Bloodseeker Bloodright. In addition, he was so low on health and was kiting Brink so well by juking into the trees.
Also, like that ultimate at the end just to kind of secure the kill here on the Darkseer. I mean, he was almost dead, and he just stood there and took it for the first while when he was in the wall before he got vacuumed. And to take out that Darkseer rather quick does a lot of work here just as a support, while the rest of them are picking off people like Brink and Mihai. And I mean, once you do that, there's just no real damage output coming out for overachievers, and that's exactly the team fight that they need. Obviously, it was a 5-0, so Bloodseeker did get picked off here, wanting to go a little deep against them. I think there was 4 there. But either way, lanes are getting pushed here for TMC, and I mean, with these pickoffs and full team wipes, they're getting a lot out of it. For the XP here, I mean, they're close to 8,000 on top of them, and, you know, close to 6K in net worth. They're doing quite well.
I do agree. I mean, Tiny's doing his best to keep up with the net worth of the Bloodseeker, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough if the rest of his team keeps falling behind.
Yeah, and I mean, this Bloodseeker's doing a ton of work here, sitting at 11, 4, and 5. I mean, Tiny's close to him. Obviously, Brink's been doing really good, and he's going to start going for that AC, sitting at 10, 4, and 2. But, I mean, credit to the Bloodseeker. He plays it just as a Bloodseeker should be, just running around the map looking for kills. And actually up top here, Earthshaker picks off that silencer. But, yeah, I mean, back between Brink and this Bloodseeker, they're doing pretty good for kills, but once a Bloodseeker starts to kind of ball out of control, it's really hard to go up against him, just being able to heal up and really doing a lot of damage. Cold Embrace going out on Rahul just to kind of secure him, but Wraith Blast does catch out Southful, and that'll be a quick kill for Bloodseeker running in here at almost 600 move speed. Thunder God's Wrath came out to secure that kill as well, and, you know, rightly so. They might as well get whatever pickoff they can, and Winter Wyvern just not having a good time at all. Frugo sitting pretty low here. They do spot him out. Bloodright going out. It will be a double kill here for the Bloodseeker TPing over across. And as I was just saying it, here's that Bloodseeker just mid-game running out of control.
I'm not too sure how I feel about the Assault Cuirass on Tiny. I've done a lot of math recently. It looks like Moonshard is going to be the go-to item after you get your Aghanim Scepter. It's great if somebody else can get a Vlad's or something to give you a little bit of armor, but the efficiency of damage I think is really what they need right now, because there's not a lot of tank on this out of TMC besides the Wraith King.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, but really, I mean, you said it before and I wasn't agreeing with you, but I am now. That Reincarnation is doing so much work with them, because that last team wipe, they spent so much ability on that Wraith King, and they didn't really calculate that how much work his ult was going to do on top of that Bloodright and Bree throwing out that coconut. There's so much damage coming out after they expended everything onto just a Reincarnation. So, I mean, I don't think the worry so much is tank anymore as it is really getting some quick key damage bursters, because, you know, eventually overachievers will start to survive through most of those team fights. It's just not enough damage done. Tiny can really sit in the front lines if he wants to as soon as he does finish that Assault Cuirass, because, I mean, Wraith King's going to be doing the right click as well as Bloodseeker, and the Witch Doctor ult is physical damage, so he can just kind of stand there. But I do feel that he needs to kind of pick up that BKB so he can kind of continue through.
Yes, it's true. And I believe that, yeah, BKB does stop Reincarnation slow from affecting you. I think that's going to be really key in the team fights.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. It doesn't say any magical or anything, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it stops the slow as it comes out. But yeah, he does pick up a Vlad, so interesting here for Wraith King. I mean, they do stack here with the lifesteal from the last patch, but I mean, we're talking about tankability that you think they kind of need, so it is a tankable item for the whole team, but definitely interesting. I feel like he needs a little bit more damage coming out.
Even if we just saw like a Desolator or something, because the other thing is TMC doesn't have a lot of push. Having a Desolator, you can melt those towers really fast, and I think that's what they need to, you know, take more objectives after they win those kinds of team fights. Yeah,
I completely agree. A Deso would be great on this Wraith King. If he's able to blink in and jump off, just one Deso hit on top of Brink, that brings the Tiny down by quite a bit. Like that minus armor coming on top with his, you know what? This isn't an AC, this is a Shiva's Guard.
No, it can't be.
You'd think it'd be... What's the Perseverance for, then?
He can't be going battle.
Oh no,
That was a really
they
old
changed
school
that.
build.
They changed it. Shivas is just the plate mail and the staff and recipe now. Never mind, it's not the perseverance. But what is he going for with this perseverance then?
It's really tough to say at this point. I mean, he could be going for a Lincoln Sphere for the Rupture or for the Wraith King stun, but I don't know. It's too easily popped by the Zeus, so that wouldn't be a good call.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see for sure.
Refresher.
Definitely not. And I don't think it's going to be a battle theory for Cleve. He does have the branch already. I don't know what this is going to be. Did he just sell it? No, it came in on the courier.
Lincoln's.
It's coming out on the courier.
I think it's a Lincoln's.
No, it's a Lotus Orb. It's a Lotus Orb.
Oh, what?
I have not seen a Lotus Orb in, God, I don't know how long. I actually don't think I've seen it in a actual pro amateur play yet. I've only seen it in pub games, so definitely great. I mean, it's great for him. He doesn't really need the BKB with that because that's going to block a lot of the stun from that Zeus and the Wraith King as well as any of the coconut. So yeah, I didn't even, I didn't even think about the Lotus Orb, and that's a great pickup. I mean, that's going to tank him up for sure. And the mana regen's great for him just to kind of continue through these team fights. So Rosh actually starting to go down here, so Michael jumps into the Rosh pit, and I mean, he's going down pretty quick. This might be a free Rosh. No, they don't have any vision here, so it's going to be free.
I definitely don't disagree with it. I think it's better than going for the AC simply because AC is so expensive to get that armor on Tiny, whereas Lotus Orb is something he can carry to the late game, and it does give him the armor he needs without that massive investment.
Exactly, and, free Rosh for them. Bloodseeker actually has the Scotty here, so he's starting to tank up quite a bit as well, and with this Aegis, they can just start to dive, and, I mean, they're being pushed in quite a bit here. T2 falling rather quick with this creep wave, and Anacletus jumps over the top to kind of save his T2 there. But it's going to be hard for overachievers. We were talking about damage output quite a bit here, and, Quap does have the eggs, and, Tiny doing quite a work here, and with the Lotus Orb pickup, that's great, but I mean, they're really starting to tank up here on TMC, and they've always had more damage. I mean, the abilities come up so quick for Zeus, and Wraith King eventually with great right-click, and, it's really lying on the shoulders of this Bloodseeker, sitting at 13, 4, and 5, and, he's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the next team fight. It's going to be great. Yeah, there's the stun right. Oh. Lotus Orb not quite off in time.
Ro running pretty low here. He's going to still have the reincarnation, but nobody coming in yet to save him. Just Bree on the back, but I don't think he wants to jump in. No, he just blinks out. So they just managed to take down the reincarnation and get right back. So I think it was just a little test out for Brink here for the Lotus Orb, saying, hey, I haven't really used this yet. Let's see how it is. It worked out for him.
And it's also really good to pick off the Wraith King right before he gets 16, because then you still have the big cooldown on his ultimate.
Yeah, Lotus Orb going out again here, and that silence goes off, but he's going to be just fine. And Quap coming in the back uses the Scream just for the Witch Doctor. Earthshaker throwing down the Slam, but he's not going to get much out of that. Brink actually falling really low here. Even though with the Vacuum Wall coming out, it's not doing a lot of damage. Fear the Reaper running pretty low. Wraith Blast going on him, and that's going to be a dominating double kill here for Bloodseeker. Arctic Burn and Cold Embrace going on top of Michael, but he's sitting just fine. And you know what? That's almost a team wipe here again. And it's just the Witch Doctor falling this time, but Sonic was just used only on the solo Witch Doctor in the back, and Mihai just elects to jump out instead. He really needed to kind of wait and save that for the whole team, and they just started to kind of roll right through him. Didn't even use the Aegis for that Bloodseeker, and he's already back to full health, so it's looking pretty grim here for overachievers, and this is going to be a free T2 and maybe even more.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a misplay by Mihai. If you have an Earthshaker on your team, and there's an enemy Witch Doctor that doesn't have a BKB, Witch Doctor is not a priority target at all. Because as soon as he pops his board, you throw down the fissure, you cancel the ward, and then he can't really do anything else in the fight. He's usually already thrown out his cask. You can just focus everybody else, but he chose to expend that very expensive ultimate, and kind of cost him the team fight. Yeah,
and I mean, Earthshaker blinked in there. I saw just a Rupture on 2. Or Rupture, sorry, an Echo Slam on 2, and it was Michael with the Aegis, as well as Wraith King, and those are two tanky heroes. It's not going to do a lot of damage if it's just the two of them. So, just kind of a couple ultimates used there, as well as the wall from Fear the Reaper. Just not enough damage output, as we've been talking about, and it really cost him there in that team fight. Brink jumping right on top of Michael, still does have the Aegis, so he'll be expending that one right away here. Does go down. Sonic Wave this time hitting on a couple, 3 I believe. Thunderab is actually coming out doing a lot of work here. Brink running really low, and Michael throws out the BKB as well as the Blade Mail, and he's on a mega kill streak, and they actually called GG, and they just could not control this Bloodseeker. And yeah, just like that, 35 minutes in, haven't even broken a racks here. and they just could not stop that Bloodseeker just within a couple team wipes there. And I think it was one last hurrah there on bottom, and just, you know, rather call it, see what happens in Game 2 in this best-of-3 series, because they just were not able to keep them down to the end there.
No, very, very strong play coming out from TMC. Impressed with their coordination in team fights and just their ideas of synergy. Obviously, Overachievers playing very well, but not quite enough to take it.
No, and really, like we were talking about it, I mean, lots of great ability usage coming out from Creeps early on, but with that tiny pickup, it was kind of interesting to see with that mid-game potential. And you know what? I thought Overachievers had a really good start there in the first, 15-odd minutes, because the graph was definitely showing they were picking up a lot of good, easy kills there, but just like that, with a couple team wipes, TMC doing a lot of work there, and just Overachievers not able to kind of control them and come back in this game. So it will be Game 1 going to TMC in this best-of-3 series in the Western Invite Playoffs. So stick around for Game 2. It will be up right away.
10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
Bounty hunter.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Witch doctor.
Radiant.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Season 4 of the Western Invite between Too Many Creeps and Overachievers. Game 1, going to Too Many Creeps. I mean, right at the end there. GG before any racks were even taken down, and they just started to ball out of control. Really interesting to see. And, you know, with Leshrac being banned out and Tusk in the first game, you just don't see too many kind of shakeups in the lineup. I mean, Zeus being picked up is one that's being actually brought out quite a bit lately. But it really did dominate with that Bloodseeker combo. And for those of you in the chat, you noticed that as well. And with that Wraith King, a little bit of tank up at the end. He didn't have a great early start, but really took control after the end of it there. Just that reincarnation doing a lot of work for their team fights. And, you know, real good credit to Bree on that Witch Doctor. Actually doing a lot in the back, getting off a great ult, and, you know, the coconuts, the cast just being tossed out were on point, and really keeping them in the blood rights from the Bloodseeker, and, you know, really good on that. So it's great to see from Too Many Creeps. But it will be this time Overachievers picking up that Witch Doctor, and they do ban out that Bloodseeker. They do not want to see it again.
Yeah, and I really love picking up the Bounty Hunter first for TMC. This is something that I've seen a couple teams too. It's almost like, you know, if you don't counter pick it, I'm going to run it as a core and I'm going to walk all over you. But if you do want to counter pick it, I'm going to make it a position 4 or position 5 and you're going to waste a pick on it. It's pretty fantastic.
It is super great. And Leshrac and Undying being banned out against, you know, they never seem to make it through anymore. I've only seen it a couple times. I mean, I was watching Dota Pit today and Leshrac made it through, but that's about it. I haven't seen an Undying in quite a bit of games now. He's just too strong with that Tombstone.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Tusk, and the unfortunate part is that all three of those heroes are actually quite entertaining to watch in a game. But the Bloodseeker ban, I'm not going to complain about.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to go.
It's too big.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, Overachievers picking up that Quap again. It was a solid pickup, but overall, I mean, not that he played bad or anything, just the pickoffs were just a little off. Who was it on that one again? Was it... I think it was Mihai, but they switched him in for Symbol, apparently. But, I mean, he was playing great, but just the jumps in on top, like, in that last scene of events there, Witch Doctor being blown up only on the Sonic Wave, I mean, you just kind of have to pick your targets a little bit better than that. And although that Witch Doctor was doing a lot of work with Bree there, it's just not one that you want to solely focus on. So, I mean, they pick up the Quap again. It'll be interesting to see what they run it with this time. And Lena Bounty Hunter coming up for Too Many Creeps. What do you think about that, Vivi?
5 seconds remaining.
I really like it because it doesn't reveal anything about their strategy. Both of those heroes can be run as core, they can be run as supports, although as a support combo they're not particularly strong. But, you know, Lena mid, again, something that we're seeing quite a bit, and being able to burst down a Queen of Pain it's not something to be overlooked for sure. Yeah, and Bounty Hunter's definitely great. I mean, you get a bunch of track kills, and even if you're lost in a game, all of a sudden you can see the graphs just spike just from a Bounty Hunter track kill, because it just adds so much more gold, and you can start to snowball picking up a little bit of extra items there from that gold. And, you know, he's a pretty good solid position 4 player. I mean, Bounty's always
great as a carry if you want him to be, but not as great as the current meta carry, so you just don't want to pick him as that. So with the support bounty, I mean, he can rotate in, get a couple ganks off, you know, pick off a few couriers here and there, just really scout out any sort of vision as well. I mean, it is a good pickup for sure.
Yeah, and if they don't counterpick it with, you know, a Slardar or whatever they choose, it can also be run as a really good core against a Queen of Pain, because Bounty Hunter's a very good Orchid carrier, someone who can really shut down that co-op in team fights. As soon as she blinks in, you know, she's done for, that's it.
Yeah, and lately I'm really seeing, as we talked about before in Game 1, I mean, most games are really starting to be kind of that mid-game feel. You know, even though games do go late sometimes, most of the time that you see all the action and, you know, tower diving, tower taking is all in the mid-game. So those heroes that really flourish in that sort of scenario are things like Bounty Hunter and the Queen of Pain. So picking up the Naga Siren here for Overachievers, I mean, if that's going to be their core carry, it's going to be a little odd to see how far this one takes, because they ran the Queen of Pain on top last time in the safe lane as a tri lane, which was interesting to see. So, I mean, if they want to throw Naga mid, I don't know. I just feel like Naga doesn't get as much as she would in a tri lane, you know, kind of safe lane farming it up. So, definitely interesting to see there.
Yeah, and of course Naga being one of my favorite heroes, you know, I love to see her picked up all the time, especially when you get more towards the, well, not amateur, but, you know, semi-pro level. It's interesting to see how people run with her. But what do you think about this on TMC? They're showing a lot of invis here right away.
Yeah, I mean, Nyx being picked up it kind of gives away from the Bounty Hunter here, because now they, you know, Overachievers have to look and, you know, they need to pick up some sort of reveal for it. You can carry Dust if you want, but it's so strong to, you know, if they want to counter that and return with the Zeus pickup this time. Instead they go for Phoenix, but I mean, tank versus the actual vision of these invis heroes, I don't know. I sort of feel that you need these visions, because the burst from Janata, from the Bounty Hunter, and, you know, like you said, if he does pick up an Orchid, that destroys these heroes. And Nyx coming in from the side, throwing out so much damage as well, on top with the stun. That's a lot of burst really quick, as well as with this Lina. I mean, Lina can start to rotate in, whether she is run as mid or as a kind of position for support. She still does so much damage, it doesn't matter how much farm she's getting. I mean, you toss up the Laguna Blade on top with the Vendetta coming out from Nyx, that's instantly blown up.
Yeah, I feel like Overachievers are just giving too many creeps a little bit too much with their draft right now. They're taking advantage of the fact that maybe Overachievers have a strategy already in mind, and so they think, well, we're pretty much free to pick whatever heroes we want and completely screw them over.
You know, and strats can work in the past, and you kind of want to continue to run them, but there's something to be said for kind of, you know, it still is captain's mode to be banning and picking certain heroes, and like you said, I feel like creeps are really getting the control on this. I mean, all the invis and you know, all the different sorts of burst here from the Lina and the Nyx, and now that they picked up the Silencer, that's even more control. And with these sort of heroes, if they toss out a Silence, there goes Witch Doctor's utility, there goes Queen of Pain being to jump around and deal damage, and there goes Phoenix altogether. I mean, Phoenix doesn't just right-click, so unless he's got the Fire Spirits, but, you know, it's just not, it's going to be hard to go up against. That being said, though, they do still deal a lot of damage, and if you give enough room for this Naga Siren to farm, if she does go for the Radiance or, you know, any other sort of build, I don't play Naga so much anymore, so I'd call you in to see what sort of items are coming in from her, but I mean, she still is a good carry for sure.
Yeah, and something else to consider is that while too many creeps are going very gank heavy, they don't have a lot to push and take away map control from the Naga Siren. So if they're not careful, if they're not aggressive enough, this Naga Siren's going to get all the space she needs, she's going to get her Radiance, she's going to get her Octarine and her Manta, and she's just going to be pushing like a madwoman all over the map.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she keys up on. I mean, she starts splitting those illusions, and if she does pick up a Manta style, there she goes. She's taken over the map, she's taken over your jungle as well as hers. There's no finding her. You just can't pick her out. Even though it is a Bounty Hunter and a Nyx, I mean, if you get off the track kill on Naga, that's great and all. But with that control, you still have to worry about the 4 other heroes on the map. So, Pudge being picked up for Overachievers. This is great. This is great to see. You know, I think when we casted them last week, we were supposed to cast anyway, and it ended up being in default. But I think I saw something on their lineups before of them running Pudge. So this is definitely great to see. A really interesting lineup. I mean, Witch Doctor and Quap being picked up, yeah, sure, I can see that. That's current meta. Naga, okay, you want to get some carry. Phoenix just adds in there too. And then the Pudge is like a complete surprise 5th pick. So that might actually throw creeps off their balance a little bit here.
Oh, I'm really hoping so. But I mean, This is really confusing for me. This could be a support Naga, this could be a support Pudge. Oh, okay, looks like it will be a core Pudge, because Symbol's going to be running it. He was in the last one, correct? He was the Queen of Pain. And this could be an off-lane Quap on Fear the Reaper. Nope, they're swapping.
Yeah, they're swapping around, so... it should be a mid Pudge, because Brink ran...
I'm confused.
Brink ran mid on Tiny last time,
Tiny.
right? So, I mean, Pudge, yeah, going mid. You don't really want to support Pudge in another lane. People have tried to do it, but I know of my games, as well as other ones that I've watched, it's never really worked out. So, yeah, I mean, interesting to see. But with this anti-mage pickup, that's definitely huge, because that's a lot of great mana drain for these types of heroes. If Quap doesn't have mana, she's useless. If Naga doesn't have mana, she can't split and do illusions like she should be. Witch Doctor obviously can get blown up so quick by an anti-mage. And you know, it's going to be really difficult. If they can tank this Pudge up though, like that's pretty destructive for sure.
Well, you see, you say that Pudge doesn't work on a support, but you're forgetting techies. Come on.
Oh god. No more techies. Valve,
yes,
please.
It has to happen.
Valve, take out techies. I like playing techies, but I hate being up against them.
I think that techies should just be disabled in Captain's mode. That would make me happy if it was just a hero that even Valve admitted was a joke and is not in serious games. That'd be great.
Yep, I'd be fine with that. So, down on bottom here on Radiant, we have overachievers running Soulfu on the Queen of Pain. We have Frugos on the Witch Doctor. Brink on the amazing pick of a Pudge. We have Fear the Reaper on the Phoenix. And Symbol on the Naga Siren.
Yeah, and on the side of TMC, we do have Bree, who was running the Witch Doctor last time on the Anti-Mage down, so a little bit of a role reversal to keep things spicy. Got Michael running on that Lena, Shoe Whistle on that Bounty Hunter, probably going to be a support. Anacletus, I said it right this time, on the Nyx Assassin, and Raoul on the Silencer. So I'm very excited to see what happens this game in terms of, you know, whether or not TMC can take away map control from the Naga quickly enough, because that's going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, for sure. It really shaking up the lineups here. I mean, Quap picked up again, but you know what? TMC, completely new lineup other than that Silencer. So really great to see the shake-up. This Pudge is really going to be interesting for sure on this game. I want to see where this one goes. I'm quite excited for this one to go. Just a quick shout-out here. Look at this octopus in the fountain. I mean, oh god, that's a beautiful courier.
Aw, he's so adorable. Aw, Mr. Hen... Oh. Oh.
Oh, okay. And, things just got weird. Anyway, down on the
really?
down on the rune here. Let's shy away from that. Tentacle pour. Looks like Frugos is actually just going to back off of the tree, so it will be a free rune here, pick up for the Lena on Michael. And down on top, Pudge actually gets that rune for himself, so... Will be Brink going mid. Up top, it will be Selfu running with Fear the Reaper. Bottom, it'll just be a dual lane of Frugos and Symbol. So, interesting lineup for sure. And, you know, Bounty's already going to work here. He's going to look out for that pick off for that courier snipe right away. He's going to just chill in the mid lane. Doesn't have a ward, though.
No, but luckily if you're on the Dire side and you're sniping a Radiant courier, you don't actually need the ward because you can just sit in between the towers. There's great paths in and out.
Yeah.
I want to say shame on Anacletus for not getting mangoes as an offlane Nyx.
The mangoes. You gotta get the mangoes. That works so well on the
mangoes for the Nyx.
The Earthshaker was so good last time with that first, or not, it was like second kill or whatever, that mango. It's complete secure. All in the mango. Valve, good work on the mango.
Mm-hmm. Now, it looks like Bounty Hunter's going to be camping for a little while. Sorry, Shoe Whistle, but Pudge isn't quite close to that bottle yet, and Lena's really not letting him have anything. No, so it's going to be a little costly here, and this is what I've talked about before. I mean, sure, Bounty Hunter is a great P4 right now, and he can just get, you know, gank and rotate around the map, get some vision. But when you do this courier snipe thing at the start, you really need to get it soon for it to be really effective. And although it's going to get a lot of gold for TMC, it's just really cost ineffective here for Shoe Whistle to stand here for, you know, probably going to be around 3 minutes. Look at Michael!
Michael getting hooked right in, and he's sitting pretty deep under tower, throwing out whatever he can, but Brink will get the first blood. And first blood on a Pudge is definitely something you don't want to do. He's starting to get him right away, and that was a great hook into the tower and forced her right into the trees. And Bounty Hunter just on the side, not able to do anything.
Raul, unfortunately, popping his potion right before the last tick of the Queen of Pain's Shadow Dagger, so that's going to get cancelled. Poor guy.
So it'll be Bree on that anti-mage with Raul on the silencer running top here, and it's on both teams. It's just dual lane against dual lane. So last time it was the tri lane and the solo off lanes, but this time they're just going to look for the the plain old farming lane for this anti-mage. And Nyx was solo here for a bit, but they need to rotate somebody in. I think he's going to have a really difficult time if Shoe Whistle wants to stay here for way too long. I mean, he's still sitting at level 1, not even close to level 2. So he's looking elsewhere to kind of get some experience here.
Naga Siren picking up that poor man's shield. Very popular right now for the safe lane farming Naga. This is something that you see happening a lot in the pro scene. Just give you a little bit of extra protection, especially against some physical damage. And you can just farm away. Yeah,
she'll have a really comfortable time farming here against this Nyx. There's not a lot he can put up other than, throwing out the casual stun, or he doesn't even have mana burn yet either, so this Naga should get quite a bit of farm.
I feel like maybe the silencer should be rotating toward the bottom, because I don't think Bree's having a tough time against this Phoenix at all.
No, and I mean, Phoenix already picking up Tranquils, so he's going to be able to stay in lane for much longer, but all he's going to be able to do is kind of toss out a couple Fire Spirits, and they're actually going for the dive here on Raul. He's running pretty low, but turns around in last words, and Anti-Mage is actually going to go really hard on Fear the Reaper, and he's running pretty low. Shoe Whistle coming in as well, and he doesn't have any points in Janata yet, but this might be a kill. Throws out the salve, but gets ticked off right away. And it's just really throwing out the Shadow Strikes all around the map here as they're rotating in the trees. And all of them are running low except for Shoe Whistle as well as Selfwell. And he's going to jump in and take out that Anti-Mage. And this might be one more click. Gets out Raul. He will be trading his life, but that's a double kill for the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, the jukes on Fear the Reaper right there were just commendable to an infinite amount. I'm very impressed by that. Shoe Whistle just didn't have any damage with no points in Janata. He couldn't slow down the Phoenix, and he just spent too much time chasing him around while his teammates died to the Quap.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. It's just very costly to kind of sit there in lane and wait forever for that courier snipe, and really proven to be ineffective for them, and he still hasn't hit level 2. And in a tri-lane, it's going to be even tougher for you there, buddy. You're just not going to get a lot out of it.
There, he finally picks it up, but it might be too little too late at this point.
Jumping in, and Selfwell running pretty low here. Last word going out, so he can't blink away quite yet. And they're diving, and Raul's actually going to go down here to another Fire Spirit. So that's another kill, actually, for Fear the Reaper.
Lena is coming up with the haste here, so we might see a little bit of a return kill. No, they're going to back off.
Yeah, they knew something was up. They have that ward up, and they haven't scouted it quite yet, but they've seen pretty much every rotation. She's almost hit level 6, so watch out for the Laguna Blade starting to rotate around the map. But, Brink running mid again here. He's got that smoke. He might actually want to start ganking himself. He's already hit that level 6, and with that first blood gold, he's doing quite well. Has the urn, has the boots, and he's going to be falling around here.
Yeah, and it seems now that Frugos has actually left bottom lane because, Symbol can handle this next all on his own. He's foregoing the Ring of Aquila and he's just dominating the lane, so Frugos is able to pick up some farm in the jungle.
Yeah, and, I mean, Symbol has so much regen anyway. He still has the salve, still has 5 tangles, so he'll be just fine. Shoe Whistle is starting to rotate in, and same as Raul, so this might actually be a good pickup, but Frugos coming in, seeing it as well, throws out the coconut, the new immortal that he has, and it's just going to deter any sort of gank. And, Symbol will be just fine. Throws out the clarity, does have the salve when he wants to use it, so back to the dual lane. Bounty doesn't know that. They just threw that down that sentry, I don't believe.
No. And that's really going to protect them, because otherwise I think this tri-lane would actually have quite a bit of kill potential. Nick's still sitting on only level 5, though. Oh, okay, I guess that's pretty good for 6 minutes.
Yeah, he'll pick up that 6 pretty soon here, and then he'll start to rotate, but Shoe Whistle. You poor lad. Just really not able to get anything done this game right now. Still sitting at just under level 3. Can't even afford boots yet, and just doesn't know where to go. It took a little too long for that courier, and now he's looking for pickoffs that he just can't quite get. Full rotations here, though.
Yeah, being the star bounty hunter is really frustrating.
And Lena blowing up the Witch Doctor right away. Pudge taking out the Silencer in the back there at the river. But they're going to go hard on this Naga Siren. She does manage to throw out the song, salves up instead, and this will be Shoe Whistle going down. And I think, I think TMC is just going to look to get back instead. Brink throwing out another hook, blind hook. Doesn't manage to pick off anybody, so that will be just Shoe Whistle going down as well as the Witch Doctor, so easy trades.
I'd like to turn our attention up to top here. Phoenix is actually doing really well against Bree here. Bree only sitting atop 17 last hits at the 7-minute mark. It's just he can't stand up to the slow from the Fire Spirits.
Yeah, he's doing okay, but it's really just the XP that he's getting, like you said. He's really not getting a lot of last hits. He has picked up the Ring of Health instead of the boots, which is, you know, it's the best thing to go for the farming anti-mage when he doesn't really have anybody rotating in on him. So he should start to be just fine if this Phoenix kind of chills in lane. Fire Spirits are really annoying and all and not able to get any last hits, but, I mean, Shoe Whistle's going to start rotating back. Let this anti-mage get some farm.
Now, as our resident anti-mage player, what are your thoughts on this 1-1-1 and 2 in the stats build that anti-mage has going on? I'm not so sure about it.
He honestly needs it, because there's actually a lot of magic damage coming out, so he does need that spell shield. Those Fire Spirits are just doing too much work for him, as we've been talking about. He does need the Blink, but you really only need 1 level in Blink early on. You don't need it later on. He just needs to farm up. So this 1-1-1 is probably just going to turn into a 3-1-1 right away, and he's just going to look to farm with a mana break.
No, but he's got 2 points in stats. That's what I mean. Like, what do you think? Should he be pumping things back into his skills, or?
Stat pickups are good though. Like to tank up anti-mage, he's so squishy, and everybody knows it right away, right? So to tank up a little bit to be able to farm, it is worth it to get the stats. And you know, look for him to rotate in the jungle with him picking up that Ring of Health, and stats will help him farm quite a bit more there.
This is true. It looks like Pudge is picking up a kill in the Lena mid, and Nyx is going to be looking for something up top, I guess.
Yeah, he's going to rotate in. He's sitting in Viz, but it just runs out of his Vendetta, so he's not going to be able to get much done sitting at only just around 200 mana, and Frugos is sitting in the trees here. He'll be just fine. But Fire Spirit's going out on Bree again here, and he's going to start to dive this a little bit more. And there's full rotations. Shoe Whistle coming in Viz, and Nyx still sitting around pretty. And, you know, this is 3 up top on both teams. But nothing's going to get done, and that's a lot of time wasted for XP. And Anti-Mage is still doing just fine being solo. I mean, Shoe Whistle isn't getting much done, but it's better for him to kind of be sitting in the trees than it is for a Co-op to be sitting, or it is for this Witch Doctor to be really not getting anything done.
Naga sitting on 54 last hits at the 9-minute mark. This is going to be a very early Radiance, and that does look like she's already, you know, 1,300 away from her Relic.
Yeah, it's pretty good to go for the Radiance. I mean, Shoe Whistle, we've been talking about, he's going to be pretty squishy, as well as the Silencer and the Nyx. They're not going to be able to tank up for a while. It's really going to be the Anti-Mage and the Lena, just because she's had quite a decent time farming on mid, that she's going to be able to tank up. So the Radiance is definitely a great pickup, especially early on. And as we're seeing it, I mean, she's just under 1k away from that Sacred Relic. That's going to be a lot of damage output, even before the Radiance, so...
Seeing a lot of action happen topside, both Soulfu and...
Oh, God, blown up.
Goodness.
Michael blows up the Queen of Pain there, throws out the Laguna. He did miss on the Light Strike Array, but just uses the Laguna to finish her off. And, you know, that's great pickoffs, and if Michael continues to do this, he picks up an Aghanim Scepter. That's a lot of pure damage, piercing any sort of, you know, spell capability. I don't think there's going to be any BKBs coming out for overachievers, really. I mean, Pudge has enough resistance. He doesn't need a BKB. Quap's probably not going to elect to go for one right away. They just don't have enough damage yet until this Naga Siren actually farms up some items. And, you know, Brink actually picking up a kill here in the trees.
I was going to say, is this a pub? Like, we see a Pudge taking off. This is not something that you see in organized games very often.
Shout out back to the Navi days.
Yeah, no kidding.
God, I hope that happens in the international this year. Anyway, back up mid lane, or top lane here. We have Fear the Reaper running pretty low. Raoul is still sitting in the trees here. And, you know, I don't think much is going to come of it. They really need to keep this farm on Anti-Mage. He's picked up the Power Treads, and, you know, if he gets this Battle Fury online pretty quick, sub 20 minutes, he's going to be farming just as well as the Naga Siren is. They've left her alone pretty much the whole time, and closing in the Sacred Relic rather quick, but just as she's doing that, Anti-Mage is still farming quite a bit as well.
Yeah, this is true. I don't know about leaving her alone. I understand that you need to defend your towers and everything, but she's looking at a sub 16-minute Radiance at this rate.
Oh, yeah, and, like, meanwhile, Anacletus and Shoe Whistle, they've been running around in Viz and not getting really anything done. These two should be the ones that are keying up on her, because if they're leaving her alone, these two aren't getting anything done anyway. They might as well key up on her and, you know, take away some sort of space or some sort of farm so she can't get this Relic online that quick. But, you know, as we're talking about it, she is sub 300 away from it.
everybody's just rotating back top. They're really hoping to distract these last few minutes until the Naga gets to the
Oh, does get out the hook on Raul. Huge hook on while he's trying to TP out. That will be a mega kill streak for the Pudge. Anti-Mage, meanwhile, does get out at really rather low health, and with Fear Reaper throwing out the egg just to kind of secure any sort of jump back in, they're going to take down this T1 tower, and that's definitely going to be enough gold here for that Naga Siren to start to flourish. So they finally start to rotate in here. Yeah, Shoe Whistle and Acklet is finally rotating in.
Dire's top tower is under
it might be
attack.
too little too late, you know. She's 50 away.
Michael's smoked up, though.
Oh.
Dire's top tower
If you see in the
has
back here,
fallen.
Michael's smoked up, and they've rotated 4 here on top of this Naga. And then she doesn't quite know. She doesn't have any real ward vision here of the 2 Invis heroes, and Michael with that smoke up. But she knows something's up. They're not anywhere on the map, and since they've rotated Bree down on bottom, she's going to stay pretty safe here. And Ping's coming out for sure.
Yeah, it's too late. She's already picked up the relic. Even if they gank her now, they can't do anything to slow this down.
No. And you know what? Brink's just going to start to rotate. He's starting to get a little tanky, sitting at 1500 health, and doesn't quite know Shoe Whistle's here yet, but they've pinged out the Pudge, and he needs to play it safe. They know something's going up in their own trees here. Brink's playing it pretty safe. He's not walking out.
Yeah, and this is the problem with having a gank heavy lineup, like having the Nyx and the Bounty and the Silencers, that if the enemy has all their towers up still at 15 minutes, you can't really gank them unless they walk away.
No, and there's a lot of action coming in here to the trees, and like I said, neither team really knows what's going on. They don't have enough wards out to get any sort of vision. They know they want to jump on somebody, but remains to be seen who's going to get that yet. Brink not throwing out the hook on the anti-mage. He wants to go for something else instead. They throw out the dust, but just too late. And Acklet is jumping down back into the river here, so they're just really confused, and you can tell. They just have no idea what's going on in their own jungle. And Acklet jumps in on Symbol instead. And yeah, oh my goodness, she throws out the song just before, and they're going to look to go on Bree here. Brink coming in, throws out the ult, but Anacletus throws off a beautiful impale and gets it on 2. Michael coming in, Laguna Blades on Symbol, so she's running really low. Anti-Mage jumps in and actually uses the Mana Void just to secure the kill there, but goes down himself instead. And Anacletus running really low, throws out another impale, and he's going to go down either way. Brink misses the hook, but that's going to be a 2-for-1. They do manage to bring down the Naga Siren, but that is a trade for the Anti-Mage and the Nyx Assassin. But, oh my goodness, there's no way they could have seen that coming. Huge Song of the Siren for that Naga, and that was just luckier than you could have ever imagined. They're gonna look back on this one and be pretty thankful that they got the Anti-Mage and the Nyx Assassin just for the Naga Siren.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
absolutely. And they're going to pick off Shoe Whistle as well. And that trade would have been worth it for them for the Naga Siren if they'd done it 4 minutes ago, but just not anymore.
Yeah, it might be a little too late, but that being said, it's still an Anti-Mage, and you know an Anti-Mage can come back with ease. He's running pretty close here. He just needs the Void Stone as well as the Broadsword to finish off for his Battle Fury, and he'll be right back into the game. They have taken the T1 top, but there's still so much farming potential out of him.
There is, but ultimately I think if a game goes too late, Naga can outcarry Anti-Mage depending on his choice of items.
Now let's talk about this.
Gonna go that late.
Let's talk about this Nyx and the Bounty Hunter combo. We've been talking about a lot this game, but we haven't really keyed up on. I mean, their picks right out the bat. We were thinking, wow, they're going to be able to rotate around the map, all that invis. There's no kind of real response for overachievers. They haven't really got anything done on it. What are they supposed to do?
Is under attack.
Well, I mean, Bounty Hunter is not the strongest support in lane, and he was rotating around, but just not doing anything for the first 5 minutes, and it didn't work.
Dire's top tower
And how are they going to be able to
is
come
under
back in this? I mean, they're
Radiant's
starting to
bottom
run a little
tower is under
away
attack.
with this one. I mean, Guap going down, yes, but with Naga picking up the relic, and you know, Pudge is landing really good hooks, getting some kills off, and Phoenix, I don't think Phoenix has actually died yet. He's 2-0-3, so he's doing just fine.
Radiant's
They
bottom
need
tower
more
is
aggressive
under
wards. Like, they
attack.
should be having wards all throughout the
Radiant
Radiant jungle right now if they
structures
want to
are
get pickoffs
fortified.
with the Bounty Hunter in the next. It's the only way. I mean, they're not seeing anything. Their vision is very poor.
For sure. And Brink chasing down this anti-mage, but he's going to be able to TP out just fine. Didn't actually know where he was. It pings out after, and Witch Doctor knew, but the rest of the team did not.
Radiant's bottom
It's
tower
unfortunate
is
they
under
missed out that
attack.
anti-mage kill. Ooh, they're pretty angry.
Yep. Well, such is Dota.
And that's one you want to pick off. I mean, Anti-Mage is going to be the one that controls the rest of this game if he starts to farm up pretty good. He's, like we said, he's closing in pretty quick on his Battle Fury. And once he gets it, he's going to just start to farm. You're not going to really see him on the map unless he really kind of wants to protect a tower. I mean, if once he farms up, it's going to be really difficult to kind of chase him down and get any sort of kill. And with his Pudge is pretty far ahead and has picked up the Blink Dagger, but I mean, the only work Pudge can do is really kind of pick off this Lina and Silencer, because with the two Invis heroes, there's no real vision coming out from them. I haven't really seen any sentries dropped here for Overachievers, so he's not going to have as much kill potential. He's just kind of going to be a walking, rotting tank.
I agree with you about the Anti-Mage, you know, being able to come online and really be a presence in the mid game, but the problem is they've already lost their tier 1 top. They're losing map control very quickly, tier 1 mid as well, so it's easy to rotate into their jungle and shut them down, whereas Overachievers, they still are hanging on to those tier 1 towers. Naga can safely farm away.
Yeah, for sure.
She has picked up the Radiance.
Oh, Pudge throwing out a hook, but just hooks his own teammate, so just for fun there. And they're just going to look to start pushing top here. They've cleared out the jungle, Fear the Reaper taking pretty much every camp, and they've left Symbol alone. Has the Radiance now, finally picked it up off the Courier. And she's going to look to go on Anti-Mage just to kind of force him back. And this is when the Naga starts to really fall out. I mean, she can start picking off whatever item she wants and throw out some illusions just to keep the push on, while the rest of her team really rotates, takes the jungle away from Anti-Mage. And as you were talking about it before, it's going to prove difficult for them to get any sort of farm off of it.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
We've got some camps stacked already for the Naga, and she's going to start taking off.
They have found her.
It's going to be
Shoe Whistle sitting right behind her, throws out the Janata, gets the track off as well, and it will be Bree coming in. They do know which one she is, and throws out the Mana Void, so that will be a kill on the Naga Siren. And that's a ton of gold coming, going towards the Bree on the Anti-Mage, so great pick off finding her in the jungle. And this is exactly as what we were talking about. They need to find this Naga. Too little too late, yes, for the Radiance, but in order to kind of keep her down and not get any more items, this is exactly what the Invis heroes need to do.
Absolutely. And on the same token, they really need to protect this tier 2 top, otherwise they're going to completely lose the map control of their jungle.
Yeah, and with that, Anti-Mage actually running at 7,200 here in net worth, Pudge falling close behind with that Naga. And when you take a look at the graphs here, I mean, Overachievers have pretty much taken this game from the get-go. They've been all over the map, being able to farm, and now with this Naga, we've talked about it, even though she gets picked off there, that Radiance is going to do tons of return work for her to get any sort of gold back.
Well, Overachievers may be overstaying their welcome here. Oh, I think Pudge may have disconnected there. He was just kind of sitting still.
Yeah, they definitely need that Pudge.
Yeah, and he does not have a TP to get out. That looks like it was a disconnect, so I wonder if they're going to be nice and let him walk away, but probably not at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as we're talking about it here, TMC taking game 1 quite handily there with that Bloodseeker Zeus, and they just started to ball out of control, but this time they're trying to secure some farm for this Anti-Mage, but they're not going to get it, and it's really just going to be the Naga doing most of the farm work. So Overachievers changing up their lineup, and you know, I think they've really done what they needed to completely come back into this best of 3 series. That glaive, a little bit of glitch there going all the way out.
Yeah, really good disjoint with the blink on the Pudge.
Killing spree for the Phoenix, so picked off Lina there in the jungle, trying to give Symbol some more room to farm, and that will be it. And this Phoenix, I mean, real credit to him. We haven't really watched Fear the Reaper too much in this game, but he's doing a lot of work. He's picked off kills of his own, he's got a couple assists, and he really battled off that Anti-Mage for a while up on top, just not able to farm. He does have the Midas, and does have the Sange, so it could be a Heaven's Halberd coming out for him.
Oh, you read my mind, I was just going to say. Very good, especially if the Anti-Mage is not going for the BKB.
For sure, and you know what? Nick's actually picking up a hand of Midas of his own, so back to Midas Gaming here in the Western Invite. And, you know, really, Nick's, as well as Shoe Whistle and the Bounty Hunter, haven't done a ton, but they've got a couple pickoffs, and with this Midas, Nick's will, you know, he'll be comfortable to come back into this game if it goes late, pick up the Dagon, pick up, you know, the E-Blade if he wants to.
Yeah, this is definitely a recover pickup for an Aquatus. He had a very poor lane against the Naga, and so he needs to recover, especially with levels. He needs that level 2 Vendetta.
Jumping mid here, Pudge actually does go hard on top of Michael. Throws out the Eul's Scepter, so Michael might actually get away. Tosses out the Urn and the Shadow Strike, so she's falling rather low. She does try to bottle up. This might actually kill her. She's running really low. One right click deny. Yeah, gets the deny. So
there it goes.
Nothing gained for Overachievers there, but they do actually take out the Lina.
Dire's middle tower
out of any
is
sort
under
of
attack.
pushback game here, and I'll go with the illusions. They're not tanky quite yet, but she's going to use them anyway to just kind of secure any sort of push. And a little bit of damage going here on the tier 2 tower on mid, and Anti-Mage is going to look elsewhere to farm up. He's got a headdress.
Done a good job slowing down the Naga since she got her Radiance, and yeah, he does have a headdress. Is this going to be a...
Oh, it's a Vlad's. Yeah, it's a Vlad's. Sometimes I forget about that. I lose all mind of what a Vlad's is anymore. I can't believe it's a headdress coming out. You just don't see that first usually, but yeah. Running mid here, Soulful throwing a lot out on that silencer and does go down, but he's silenced up instead too. And Shoe Whistle actually being hooked back here from the Pudge, so he's going to go down. And there's just so much coming up from both teams here. Coconut actually being dropped down, throws out the ult a little bit for the Witch Doctor, and Michael running really low. One last right click gets the Witch Doctor the kill here. And Aklet is pretty low with mana and health here on the back. So that's a 3-for-1. Dust going out from Fear the Reaper, but he's not going to be able to catch anybody. Went the wrong way. But yeah, 3-for-1 trade, and it's a pretty good trade here just for the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile,
on the same token, we did see Bree take the tier 2 bottom, and he's pushing right up into the tier 3s. That Battle Fury doing tons of work for him.
Exactly. I was just about to say that too. I mean, he's pushing really good now, and that's exactly what this Anti-Mage needs to do. Find any sort of farm or gold retrieval, because his team's not having a really good time here, especially with this bounty and Nick's not able to get a lot done. And you know, it's not a discredit to how they play. It's just there's no way to be able to come back really easily. The pickoffs are just far too hard against this kind of mobile lineup, as well as Symbol's just starting to tank up a little bit here. She does have boots of travel too, so you're going to see her rotating around the map. You're just not going to be able to kind of stick on top of her. Pings out on the illusions.
Phoenix has picked up a Void Stone here. What's he building into? Is this going to be a Yule's?
Void Stone on the Phoenix. Yeah, it could be the Yule's. You know what, Yule's Scepter is actually one of my favorite items in the game, just because you can really throw that on anybody. You can throw that on a core, you can throw that on a support. It's such a good protector item, as well as a good diving item, because you can start to pick off anybody in a kill, especially if they're going to start to turn around and try and fight you. You throw them up in the air, you get better positioning, and then you can kill them again. So one of my favorite items in the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if he picks that up.
Yule's Scepter is literally the Frank's Red Hot Sauce of Dota.
I put that shit on anything. Brink picking up a couple kills there, so he's on a godlike streak, and you know, this Pudge, real great surprise, and I'm so glad they picked it up. He now has picked up a Force Staff, so he's really been all over the map. He's at 10 flesh heaps, really tanking up, over 2k in health, and it's going to be really hard to bring him down. And while they're focusing here on, I mean, they're trying to focus on the Naga Siren to take away her farm, but with this Pudge picking up the kills, that's two heroes that you're not going to be able to kill in a sort of team fight. You're going to want to take down the Naga because she's going to start dealing out damage. But you want to take down the Pudge because he's just going to stand there and rot and really focus anybody in a team fight. Witch Doctor going, throwing out the ult.
Going absolute ham, yeah.
Brink jumping in. They do manage to jump on top of Bree, but he will be able to blink away. Manages to get off the urn though, and that will be what kills him. Witch Doctor picking up the last bit of kill there. I think it might have been the Maledict, actually. And they're going to go deep here on Shoe Whistle. They don't know where he is quite yet, but they do have a sentry here. They have spotted out the Nyx, and they're not going to make any sort of play yet on him. Until they Force Staff him up from Brink. Hooks him back in. That Carapace doing a little bit of work stunning them up, but Soulful throwing out the Sonic Wave and manages to bring down an Akletus. So that's going to be a 2-for-0 trade here, and 23-8. And I mean, Overachievers really making a big comeback here. XP going in the way of 8,000 of a lead, and Gold doing about the same here. So they do have quite a lead on top of TMC, and they might just start push in this base. Pudge throwing out hooks casually, just doesn't really care anymore.
I'm really liking the comeback from Overachievers. They, you know, didn't look so strong in the first game. Their strategy didn't quite pull through how they wanted it to, but coming out very strong in the second game.
And Shoe Whistle being targeted down here. They don't quite have vision of him, but they know he's here. Throws out the track, but I think he's just going to look to get back. There's going to be an easy free T2. I don't think they want to jump in him quite yet. And meanwhile, Symbol's just still farming up. He's finished a Yasha in the meantime, and still, like, with these boots of travel, he's going to start to rotate around the map if he wants to, but they've given him all time in the world here to farm up, and sitting at 2k in net worth, or 2k in gold here, rather. I mean, he's going to finish that Manta style rather quick.
Yeah, so this game is turning out to be the battle of the rats because, well, you know, the team fights have been going very well for overachievers. TMC has been taking a lot of map control on the back end.
Yeah, and you know what? Meanwhile, Anti-Mage is doing quite a bit of farm himself. He has picked up the Vlads. He does have the Yasha now, so he's doing quite a bit of work too. And oh my goodness, it's Pudge picking up yet another kill here on Lina. And oh god, with the Boots of Travel, he's all over the map and just so tanky. 12 flesh heaps, and I don't know what, like, we've been talking about him for a little while here. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the surprise Pudge really throws off a lineup, and we didn't say they had a lot of reveal for these Invis heroes, but it doesn't really matter right now. Pudge really controlling the map for them.
Yeah, Witch Doctor now picking up his Aghanim Scepter as well, and he's sitting on 700 gold. Is this a Glimmer Cape game? Is this a BKB game? What does he have to do to survive these late game engagements?
Yeah, I mean, the BKB would be pretty solid. They have a little bit of stun work here, as well as the silence coming up from Silencer. It would be decent to get the... And it tanks them up as well. They do need a little bit of tank. They have the Pudge, but if they blow up the supports, it's kind of unfortunate for Frugos just to, you know, do a lot of work here. He's 4-2 and 4, and if he dies on the back just because of a farmed anti-mage, it's going to kind of suck for him. So, yeah, I think BKB is the way to go for him for sure. And they're going to go deep on Symbol. They do actually manage to find her out. Track kill for sure. And that's 640 gold here going to the anti-mage. Pudge picking up yet another kill, though. He goes deep, and with these level 2 Boots of Travel, he can go really anywhere he wants, but really the better trade there for picking up that Naga Siren here in the jungle.
I'm not too sure how I feel about the level 2 Boots of Travel quite yet. I don't think the game's gotten to that. Maybe the gold would have been better spent getting a head start on that Aghanim Scepter. He's got so many flesh heap stacks.
Yeah, I agree. If they went the Ags, then he is just unkillable unless you get the stun on him. Even with the Ags, I mean, you could have went for a heart for all he cares. If he just keeps tanking up, he can just stand there and control a whole team fight. I don't really think the Boots of Travel for the second upgrade's worth it, as you said, but, you know, he's doing fine just by himself. He's 11-0-3, so give a credit to Brink. He's doing quite a bit of work for his team.
And if we look on Mr. Hentai down there, we do see the Ultimate Orb and the Manta-style recipe ready for Symbol as soon as he comes back up. So yes, yeah, I know, it's funny. But as soon as he comes back up, he's going to be able to split just that much harder.
Yeah, and they're starting to rotate up together here.
Puns everywhere.
Just nasty. And look at that, 2 Mantas coming out, one for the Naga, one for the Anti-Mage. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a late game back and forth here, I think, because, you know, supports have been doing work and Pudge has been doing a little bit of work for himself, but I think it's going to come down to this Anti-Mage and Naga who really gets the better initiations for the full team, but then really who lasts between these two carries, because yeah, they're going to be able to jump around and get off those kills and start to push. I still probably would give it to the Naga right now just because she's had a little bit of extra space to farm here. And I mean, she's level 16, Anti-Mage is level 17, but I'd still give it to her for sure.
Yeah, late game, you know, you can deal with an Anti-Mage if everybody rotates in on him, but you can't have everybody rotated in on a Naga illusion. It just doesn't work.
No. They did manage to pick off her in the jungle with that track kill, but that's just her by herself. She hasn't even been with her team the whole game here. Like, it's unbelievable how much work she's just, you know, been able to farm up the whole game. Her team creating all the space for her, and I mean, minus the couple of deaths that she's had, this is probably one of her best free farming games. I mean, literally barely any rotations on her. And it looks like
really
TMC.
Go for the Octarine core.
I think so too. Yeah, TMC just gonna stay pretty deep here in their fountain, or not their fountain, sorry, their base. They're not gonna want to go out anytime soon. Pudge is going to be throwing out hooks, and oh, just missed a shoe whistle. They just really need to stay back and let this Anti-Mage split push. With the Manta style now, he can do that, so as he said, you can pick out an Anti-Mage, but there has been no Orchid carriers really yet this game. I'd expect to see it on a Quap, but she's going for the Aghanim Scepter instead, so interesting to see what happens there.
They may be banking... Yeah, they may be banking on Ensnare late game, because he's not going to be able to blink out of that if I remember correctly.
No, I think he blinks, but he can't move out of it.
Oh, really? That's strange. It says interrupts target and prevents him from moving or blinking. Maybe it just means blink daggers.
I think it's blink dagger, because you can still use some abilities, but you can't, like, get out of it. If I remember correctly. We'll see. We'll see. But that's, even still, that's really their own main lockdown on top of that Anti-Mage, so I feel that they need some sort of stun or other lockdown other than the Ensnare to kind of secure them, because if they do get that Anti-Mage is really in big trouble, and it's going to look really grim for TMC to kind of secure the second game for them. Rosh being taken down by Bree right now. Yeah, and they have no vision of it. Queen of Pain actually getting a kill there on the silencer, so they got to take this Roche really quick and get home. TP's on cooldown for the anti-mage, but this Lina will be able to get... They do give it to the Lina instead. I don't know about that. I think the poor man's shield drop on anti-mage probably would have been better. And they're going deep here, and Naclidus gets blown up here by the Queen of Pain, and you know, they're just getting the pickoffs that they need. Buyback's still on the silencer. He's not going to use it. He'll be back right away, but the Nyx does have it if he needs to. And Naga rotating up top with those travel boots here. She's going to start to push in and throw out those illusions just to force TMC away from any sort of reinitiation.
Yep, they need to force the buyback here and really cripple this Nyx assassin.
Oh, wow, Laguna Blade going out on Phoenix and just destroying him. Silence going out now that Silencer's back, and they're going to look to go on this Pudge. Still rotted up, still so tanky, but out of mana, not able to do really anything else. And Naclid is throwing out the Mana Burn and the Mana Void coming out from the Anti-Mage. And Witch Doctor, oh, huge ultimate. Aegis being expended by the Lina, and Silencer now down. Anti-Mage being forced back quite a bit too. That's a godlike spree for the Pudge, and he's running really low, but he might just deny himself here. Lina picks him up here. That's 1374 for the Lina.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he went back in, because he didn't have any mana. He could do pretty much nothing. He gave Lina a free godlike spree.
You know, and that was a great couple pickups here for Overachievers trying to take down this tower too, but at the same time, Bounty Hunter actually doing a lot of work here with the track golds. He does actually go down to the Naga, but I think that was, what, 2 or 3 track kills that he got there.
Okay, now let's play a game. Whose gem was it originally?
Hell if I know.
Because Lina has it now.
It had to be Overachievers.
Yeah.
I didn't see a gem being picked up by any of them there. I missed that one, but it had to have been Overachievers that they picked up there. Did they throw that on the Pudge? Because, oh no, he doesn't have an extra slot. Witch Doctor, maybe. No, Witch Doctor didn't go down.
Yeah, it could have been... Oh, it could have been the Phoenix. Yeah, I think it was. Oh,
yeah,
poor
one
Phoenix.
slot.
But there's the Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah, so still good pickups for sure, and you know, running 30 to 12, we have Naga sitting at 18,000 in net worth with the Anti-Mage closely behind her at 17,800. And you know, we've been talking about this. It's really going to be a back and forth here, and you know, Sybil went pretty hard here to push that tower, but the rest of her team kind of jumped in there and wanted to die for those kills. And yeah, they picked off a couple, but not the key kills. They didn't manage to pick out the Lina. They didn't manage to pick out the Anti-Mage, so just not able to push in quite yet. And they're just going to get this Naga to start farming up and start pushing lanes again.
This poor Silencer is just sitting right at the bottom of the net worth charts. He's got a Vitality booster, a wand, and a pair of boots to his name.
Well, they do manage to pick up Bree here. It does get the ult on him, but I think he's going to be able to blink away. Silence going out just in case. And yeah, he's going to be just fine. So Witch Doctor ult expended, but it's going to come up pretty quick here. 70-second cooldown, and I think Naga's just going to look to start pushing towers anyway, so she has a Diffusal Blade too. That's going to be really effective here against a lot of their supports and positioning here from Silencer as well as Lina. Great pickup by Symbol. Gem on the Bounty Hunter. Easy. Careful, buddy.
That's danger.
Yep. I don't know about that one. It's not like they can really get out of their base anytime soon either. I mean, he hasn't seen this ward yet. Doesn't want to pick it out. Oh, there it goes. Almost gets hooked. Lina throwing out the Yules just in case.
Oh. But don't forget, you can actually hook out of Yules.
Yeah.
That was one of the strangest things I learned a couple months ago. So just, you know, you can be up in a Yules and Pudge can just be like, whoop. Nope.
And here's Pudge almost hitting up his Aghanim Scepters we're talking about. That's even more tank. We have this Naga sitting at 4k gold. Almost 6 slotted here. And they've taken this whole jungle. Anti-Mage only able to take down his Ancients. He's got a recipe. That's for Heart. So he's actually finished his Heart just as I'm talking about it. That's a great pickup for him. He really needed to tank up in these team fights. So even as we're talking about it, there's just so much map control from Overachievers. It's going to be really difficult for them to kind of get out and push. Even if they did take a full team fight, they have to push 3 lanes all the way back. And they don't even have a Rax or anything yet. So it's going to prove really difficult.
There's the soul booster on the Naga. It will be an Octarina. I was getting a little bit worried for her there. I'm really not sure how I feel about the Diffusal. I don't think it offers that much, and she's mostly ratting anyway.
Yeah, Mana Void going out, so blowing up the Phoenix right away before he can actually expend the ult. And they're going to go deep on Brink here. The track is up. They managed to get off an Impel, and Laguna Blade just secures the kill. They wanted to get rid of the Pudge real quick so they could chase down more kills. And they do go hard on the back, but it will be Silencer dropping really quick to the Naga, as well as Shoe Whistle dying really quick with that Diffusal, as well as the Radiance dominating here and a double kill. And Anaclid is also falling really low. They want to pick up that gem, but you got to get out of there, guys. Naga throws out the Scream just to kind of get away himself. But it will be Soulful. Ooh, he's going to die really quick here. Just bad positioning here for the Queen of Pain. That's unfortunate for them. But it will be the Nyx Assassin going down here. And they're all rotating around trying to pick off this gem, and they're just falling for it. So that's 4 down here for Overachievers, just for the 2 on TMC. But they're running really low here. And it looks like Michael's actually just going to TP home. But yeah, huge engagement there. And really, it was just a battle for the gem back and forth after they picked out that Pudge. And, you know, buyback still on the Witch Doctor, but I don't think he's really going to need to use it. Anti-Mage is going to push as hard as he possibly can, but it's not going to get enough done here. They did not manage to drop down the Naga Siren. She's finally picked up her Octarine Core, so it's going to be pretty hard to kind of take her down anytime soon.
Yeah, it's just so much tankability for the Illusions. You get the lifesteal off the Radiance so they can last a lot longer. I think they're going to have a difficult time here, but Anti-Mage may just be able to walk up and man-fight towers. He's getting pretty strong, and with that heart pickup...
You know, and take a look at the graphs here. I mean, XP really diving back into the way of TMC. Almost, you know, getting close to 3K here only as a lead. It's really just the gold lead of this Naga Siren now. I mean, she's sitting at just so much gold. Now that she's picked up that Octarine, still sitting at 1K. Once she sells that bottle, what do you think she's going to go pick up here? Is she